is our time. The top stories this hour. I'm Katerina Nestorenko. 1 dead and 7 wounded following a Russian Federation army attack on a village near Zaporizhia. Overnight, Russian forces dropped about a dozen aerial bombs on the outskirts and launched missile strikes. About 150 private homes were damaged or destroyed, and cars were wrecked in the yards. Shrapnel damaged power lines. The entire village and neighboring settlements were left without electricity. Utility crews are currently carrying out restoration work. Rescuers and volunteers are working to clear the aftermath of the attack. Also in the Zaporizhia region, the Russian army destroyed a postal operator's warehouse. The company notes that none of the employees were hurt, but over 150 parcels were burned. Their value is estimated at 300,000 hryvnias. This morning, the Russian army attacked Pavlohorod in the Dnipropetrovsk region. A local enterprise was damaged. This was reported by the regional military administration. According to preliminary data, there are no casualties. And in the Sunni region, the Russian army struck a gas station. 2 people were injured. This is reported by the regional military administration. Neighboring houses and cars were also damaged. In total, last night, Russia launched 119 attack drones from 7 directions. 70 of them were Shaheds. Air Defense Forces managed to shoot down. Hits were recorded at 11 locations. 4 more pieces of debris fell. U.S. troops will remain near Iran's border until a final peace agreement can be reached. U.S. President Donald Trump announced this on the Truth Social network. He emphasized that if the agreements fall through, hostilities will resume with renewed vigor.
All American ships, aircraft, and military personnel, as well as additional ammunition, weaponry, and everything else deemed appropriate and necessary to deliver lethal strikes and destroy the enemy, whose forces are already significantly weakened, will remain in their positions in and around Iran until the actual agreement reached is implemented in its entirety. Donald Trump, President of the United States, on the Truth Social network.
As a reminder, Iran has again banned ship traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, citing ceasefire violations by Israel and shelling in Lebanon. In turn, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated that all enriched uranium will be removed from Iran, either by agreement or as a result of the resumption of hostilities. At the same time, the White House confirmed preparations for talks between the U.S. and Iran, which are to take place this coming weekend in Pakistan. The Krymskaya linear production and dispatch station in the Krasnodar region of the Russian Federation was attacked by drones on the night of April 9th. A fire broke out. This was reported by the head of Ukraine's National Security Council's Center for Countering Disinformation, Andriy Kovalenko. The Krymskaya station is a vital hub in Russia's oil pipeline infrastructure. Russian soldier casualties on the front lines have increased. This was reported by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Oleksandr Syrsky. He emphasized that in March alone, the total personnel loss rate for the Russian army rose by 29%. According to Syrsky, Ukraine's defense forces hold the strategic initiative and are preventing Russian troops from resuming a large-scale offensive. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine also noted the effectiveness of Ukrainian strike drones, middle strike. Thanks to long-range strikes, 143 targets were hit, enemy logistics and warehouses, 52 Russian army command posts, and 20 oil and energy sector facilities.
For 4 consecutive months now, starting from December 2023, our drone system units have been neutralizing more enemy personnel than they can recruit into their ranks. On average, drone force units carry out more than 11,000 combat missions every single day. Furthermore, by the end of March, 50% more confirmed targets were hit compared to the statistics from February. That is more than 150,000.
The partial easing of sanctions by the U.S. did not help Russia increase its oil shipments. Due to infrastructure constraints and port disruptions, oil exports from the Russian Federation fell to nearly 3.5 million barrels per day in March. This was reported by the Foreign Intelligence Service of Ukraine. A key factor in the decline is disruptions in the operation of port infrastructure. Specifically, at the port of Primorsk in late March, shipments dropped sharply from 1 million barrels per day to 700,000 barrels per day. Thus, Luga, as well as other ports, suffered significant reductions. Oil export volumes decreased by up to 4.5 times. Evacuations continue from frontline settlements in the Donetsk region. Every departure from Drushkivka has now become life-threatening. Russian drones are literally hunting down every single vehicle. How the White Angels police crews are moving civilians away from the war. We will tell you about this in our report.
We are heading to the city of Drushkivka. We're going to Drushkivka. We have a child there for evacuation, born in 2009. Another man with a second group disability and an elderly person.
Almost every day, White Angel crews travel to frontline settlements to evacuate to safer territory, those who were unable to leave on their own. In Drushkivka, Donetsk region, over 7,000 people still live under constant shelling. Most of them are elderly people. Spouses Valentina and Sergei are 72 years old. They lived in a private house. They say they didn't leave earlier because they had nowhere to put their animals. But when the shelling intensified, they realized it was dangerous to stay in the city any longer.
They're shooting. It's Scaly. Right there. Right there.
Every such trip for the White Angel police crew was a risk to their lives. Frontline territories are under the control of Russian FPV strike drones. Special detectors help to locate them.
Well, not over the road yet. Nothing. In the field, over the tree eye.
What is this?
What do we have here? A wing from a Lancey, right? Yes.
Moving around the city's extremely dangerous, police say. Russian drones hunt for any vehicle. Therefore, during each evacuation, crews carefully work out the logistics considering the situation in the city. First, people are picked up from the most dangerous areas.
There's a religious concept, like the 7 circles of hell. There is such a concept as the 7 circles of hell. We've gone through 6 surveys. A drone hit the next street over. 2 days later, it hit the neighbors. Then there was another explosion. Our house was damaged. Then there were 2 more hits on the next street. And the 6th one hit our garden. It killed everything living. The trees were cut down as if with a ruler. This is our Scooby-Doo. This is our cat Sandy crying, and this is Diamond the chinchilla.
This family stayed in Drushkivka because of work, but they no longer dared to risk their lives and their children's.
They're out bombing now. Well, supposedly they've started bombing harder again now.
It's been very hard in recent days. Shelling every day. And a 9-story building nearby was hit.
The White Angel police crews help not only people but also animals. They bring humanitarian aid to shelters organized by local residents.
We stopped at an address and brought some from volunteers. Animal feed. There was a request. A local resident collects animals left in the city during evacuation.
The White Angels call such trips life flights. Therefore, despite the great risks, they are ready to go to frontline settlements to evacuate as many people as possible. Natalia Gusak for the Freedom TV channel.
Subscribe to UATV English and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.